Hiya, I hope you're keeping well. Emily, Christina, this one is for you. This is going to be a video about a few little tips and tricks if you wear glasses to make sure that your makeup still pops. Now, I've got my glasses here, but I wear contact lenses, so if I put those on and my lenses, I cannot see like my hand in front of my face. So I'm just going to put them on intermittently so you can see where I'm going. Now, the first thing I'm going to do, and what I would say, when I've got my glasses on, I try and make the things that you can see really pop. So like a bold brow, a nice bold lip. So I'm going to start with the It Girl Beauty book, has a powder brow in it, and I'm going to use a really small angled brush and draw on a nice sharp brow. Now, as you can see, that's a little bit sharper than I would usually go with my brows, but I feel like when the glasses are on, this will all come together and you'll see why I wanted that to be so precise. So the next thing I'm going to do, hang on a minute. I thought I was going to go in with my CC cream, but it's empty. Let me run. Oh no! I was going to run and grab another one. See, there's always some left in there. Fantastic. I'm going in with my original CC cream and what looks like the very tail end of it. And I'm just going to buff this all over the complexion. Now, one thing I will say is that there is no product out there in existence that isn't going to move slightly and give you those marks around, you know, like the little red print you get when you have your glasses on over your makeup. You're going to get a longer lasting power if you use a powder foundation. So definitely, if that's something that you notice and that bothers you, that's going to be a really good option. But what I tend to do is try to put as little product as I can in that area and then set it with a bit more powder over where the kind of little nose of the glasses is going to sit. What would we call it? It's not a nose, the bridge, I suppose. So just give it more of a velvety finish. If I were to leave this creamy, it's just going to lift straight away. But the powder gives it a little bit more of a last. And I just think as well, you know, I've said this before, I think about so many makeup products. If you want something to be completely flawless and completely long lasting all day, the reality is it does just need a tiny bit of a touch up here and there. Now, I've used quite a large pump of this, but that's okay. I'm going to go nice and full by the looks of things and just take any excess over the eye area. And then the colour I'm going to use today, actually, I'm going to do a really simple eye. Let me just grab some tissue. I was on a Smashbox Zoom yesterday, and truthfully, it's one of those brands that I used to use a lot of, and I think all the products really work, but I just hadn't used them for a little while. And they kind of gave us a bit of heritage of the brand. Let me just show you. I've got all my things laid out in front of me. Here we go. They've got these new Always On cream shadows, and they're creams, but they have a matte finish when you put them on. This is the olive green. Lisa, you had asked me for a colour that would be lovely with brown eyes. Wait till you see this one. The girl that demoed it yesterday had brown eyes and they really popped. But basically, they were explaining some of the heritage of Smashbox, and I just had no idea. I thought you might be quite interested to hear. They have a studios in Los Angeles, and like Beyonce's Single Ladies video was filmed in there. You know, like the lovely pictures of Demi Moore when she was expecting the baby and she didn't have any clothes on, that was done in there. And I just didn't realise there was such a creative heritage behind them. But actually, for the Zoom, so they very kindly sent us a few of the colours of this cream shadow so that we could play along during the Zoom. And I'd seen this olive green, and to be honest with you, I'd put a few of them on the back of my hand, and this was just one of those colours that I was like, that's not for me, I'm not going to end up using it. But then while we were on the Zoom, like, what have you got to lose? Just have a little play. And when I got this on, I absolutely loved it. Isn't it funny how sometimes it takes seeing a colour on someone else or just having 5 minutes, like, because yesterday I wasn't doing anything. It was no odds to me if I put a bright green on my eyes. I'm really glad I did now because I think I'll use this colour a lot. But their like artistry team led the Zoom, and one of them, Heather, had really brown eyes and she put this on and it really just made everything pop. So Lisa, I'm going to suggest the olive greens for you. Now, I am going to put a little bit of this underneath, I think. You can see it on the back of my hand here. I don't know how much playtime I've got with this before it dries. So that was a little Peaches PC30. I'm using a PC07 and I'm going to take this right the way under the eye. There we go. What else was I planning to tell you today? I'm sure I had something that I was thinking I need to make sure I mention. Can't remember, but basically as well, I quite like the thought of this all over wash of one colour because it's just quite nice that you've got this one little powerful moment under your glasses. I'm going to have a look. I don't think I'm going to put any liner on with that. I quite like it on its own. And I think by all means, look, I've just smushed that all over my hand and it's literally, I mean, the polite way of putting it would be, you know, olive green, but that does just look a bit mental. I'll sort that afterwards. What was I going to say to you? We've got a nice wash of colour on. The next thing I think is really important if you've got your glasses on is to curl your eyelashes. Now, the lovely thing about curling them, not only is it going to give them that kind of lift and arch and all the rest of it, but it's also going to make them straight up so that they're not poking forward and poking out of your glasses. And then go for a really volumizing mascara to really capture those lashes so that they'll show through the glasses. I'm going to use this Maybelline Sky High one again. This was the one I saw on TikTok that went viral and it's absolutely fab. That's one coat on that side. Look at the difference. There we go. Now, side note, I've really gone for it with that mascara to build up loads of volume. And what has happened is I've made a few mistakes. So I'd say the best way to correct that, they are still wet, so I might be playing with a bit of fire here. But I've gone in with that same small, that's a PC07 Peaches brush with some more of the green. And I'm just going to go over it because if I try and buff it off, it's going to spill everywhere. But I'm just going to go over it and no one needs to know. So again, picking up a lot of the product. And then, as you can see, my lashes have gone a bit clumpy on that side now because I've messed around. So I'm just taking the clean end. Have I just put loads on my... Right, again, I'm keeping all this in. This is the kind of thing you never see on the videos. And then when it happens, you think, well, how am I meant to get around this one? Not to be savage, but the whole point of the video is that this is going to be behind my glasses anyway. So I'm just going to get over that. It's fine. It's a bit of eyeshadow, isn't it? But as you can see, we've near enough tidied it up. Okay, next step, I'm going in with some translucent powder. Now I'm really, in particular, going to make sure that where those glasses are going to sit is really, really velvety. And then I'm actually going to take the majority of my powder down the centre of the face. And I'm going to put a little bit all over because I'm going to put some bronzer and blusher and things high up into the temples. So again, with your blusher, why not do an extra little pop of it, go for a bigger surface area so that when you've got your glasses on, there's another little pop of colour working to warm up your complexion. I'm going to start with, this is the It Girl Beauty Book number 4 and the Bye Bye Pores bronzer on a really fluffy, this is the French Boutique blush brush from It Cosmetics. And I'm going to take this bronzer quite high up onto the cheeks and then through the forehead, down the nose, anywhere that the sun would hit. And for my blusher, I'm going to use Jamie Genevieve as bought out some new blushes in Vive Muse. And I've just watched her video on where she put them, the different colours. And I mean, anything that's going to make me look remotely like Jamie, load the brush up, quite frankly. So, going in with that nice warmth. I think having a bit of warmth as well, I'm going to put it literally, excess of it around here, just means that those colours feel less, that feels less like a green now, and I feel like it's just pulled everything in. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take, this is a Smith 118. This is the brush that Jamie really recommends for blusher in general. I'm going to take this really softly. Now, do you know something? I feel like this is the shade Cherub, by the way. I'm tapping off the excess on the back of my hand, and I'm just going to really gently flush the height of that cheek and through this socket a little bit. And I feel like I sometimes don't go as mad with the blush because I'm so busy. Let me soften that a bit. It's a beautiful brush. So busy covering the redness that do I always put it back in? I'm not sure, but this was the kind of shape that she did. Oh, I love this actually. What I am going to do, excess of my foundation brush, I'm going to soften it a tiny bit close to the eye because I feel like I've gone just a smidge too close to that eyeshadow. But do you know what? I feel like when you first put it on, it feels a bit different. But now that I'm looking at it, I love that, and it's really lifted the face. Beautiful. She said about these that they're really soft and you've got kind of the lasting power and the control of a powder, but it's really velvety like a cream. And yeah, absolutely beautiful. So just to recap, if I put my glasses on at this point, we've done a nice, that isn't even a word. We've done a nice sharp blush, nice sharp brows. I can't see what's happening here. I'm hoping you can, that we've kind of made it nice and visible. And the last thing I'm going to do is really sharpen up the lips. I'm going to use edge to edge. It'll be really nice with this blusher. And do you know what? I was going to put some lipstick on top, but I love that just as it is. I put it over some lip balm and I'm going to leave it like that. And now, hopefully, again, I'm going to take your word for it because I can't see anything. You've got your lovely sharp brows. You've got a little pop of colour in your eyeshadow. You've got your lips are nice and defined. That blusher is that bit higher so you can see it, whatever's going on. And you've still got a lovely fresh makeup under your glasses. I hope you enjoyed. I cannot see a thing, so I'm going to take these off. Let me know in the comments if there's anything else you want to see, and I'll talk to you soon.